My name, I've never met Mrs. Lloyd other than when she was at the podium, but she used that word and my name was associated with it, and I take exception to that. She continues on by saying, so I ask you, where is the integrity in there? You know, I really don't know how you sleep at night. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and sooner or later, if you keep doing unjust things, unfair things, sneaky things. And then she goes on to say, so can you explain to me why you would stoop so low? This is public record, my friends, and if you would like a copy of it, you're certainly welcome to receive it out of the city clerk's office. The date of it is July the 28th of 2008. That was a lot to swallow that night, and when I reread it again, it was a lot to swallow, and it's even a lot to swallow right now. If you can imagine if someone would say to you, any one of you in the audience, anyone here at the council, and question your moral values, question your ethics, question your integrity, uses words such as deceitfulness, uses words of corruption, that's troubling to me. So anyway, based upon this, we're looking for a candidate in which they can work together with a team. And I have no problem with whether it's a realtor, whether it's a landlord, but you want the most qualified candidate, one that can be objective, one that can be unprejudiced, one that can have rationale, and one that can most importantly be respectful. Based upon what I have here, that I have related, and I've tried to relate everything in order so that all of you have the same information that I have, I cannot support this candidate.
Then I will need some guidance at this point, because if the double standard exists that you'll let certain members of the rental association sit at the podium and say the exact same things about me and not say a word about it, I'm a little concerned that there's all of a sudden this worry about this particular candidate. So
Okay,
I guess
I apologize, 1 minute.
If I have
Hold on 1
followed
minute,
the
Mayor,
rules.
hold on 1 minute. Turning to the audience, as this is the second time I've said this, if there's going to be giggling during, whether it's the mayor speaking or whether it's anyone else speaking, I'm going to ask you to leave the room, and I'm not going to say this again.
I guess we're going to need some guidance then, because you know, it is Salisbury, and it is very hard to find somebody who isn't prejudicial or has a judgment. Certainly, the former president of Sapelo being on this board, I'm not exactly sure how we would not say that view isn't represented. We got someone who met the qualifications, but apparently doesn't reach the threshold of who you like. So I'm going to continue to search for names, but I'm afraid that what we'll get into is that I don't believe that we're in this situation because somebody doesn't like somebody else or somebody said something about somebody else at the podium. I think we're in this position because we know that the fox was in the hen house with this person on the Board of Housing Adjustments and Appeals. And that's not the first time I've said that. I'm on record as saying that since early 2009. Mr. Inslee and I have a good relationship. He says we didn't come to the dance together, which we all know that we didn't, but elections have consequences. I made my appointment and I followed the law. Now, the situation that citizens find themselves in is this, and I respect that the council has advice and consent, is that we have to find someone who we can put forth. Now, for the citizens, what it comes down to is that if they were to attend the Housing Board of Adjustments and Appeals meetings and see what staff attorneys are telling the members to do and how sometimes that is not happening, they would see the reason why I chose not to reappoint the chairman. Not out of spite, not out of unreasonableness, not out of being mean, simply because we have a different perspective and a view on what goes on. I will say this to you, Ms. Shields and Ms. Smith and Ms. Cohen and Mr. Comegys and Ms. Campbell. I will again search for someone who meets the qualifications, but I'm afraid that what it comes down to is this. We will know who you will accept by looking and seeing who as politicians you accept money from. And
Now,
that
Mayor, I
person
take
wasn't
offense
saying
to
anything
that.
about corruption.
I take
But
offense
those
to
things
that.
can be found on record. If
Mayor,
what you found is on
please
record.
do not use that again at this table.
I'm sorry, so now we're censoring
No,
what we can and
no,
can't
no.
say?
I don't think you need to be saying something like that.
I'm saying to you, Mrs. Smith, that, well, but Shani, come on
insulting.
now.
That's insulting.
You're saying it's not okay for Mrs. Lloyd to have
That's
her opinion, and it's
insulting.
okay for you to have your opinion. How is that working together? I mean, I'm not trying to
You're
be mean. I'm
saying,
saying-
basically saying
Mayor.
what I got in emails, I'm being
Okay.
controlled, I'm not controlled by no
Okay,
God.
I understand that. But
Mayor,
I'm
this
not
is-
either. So what, do we have any suggestions for moving forward?
Mayor, yes.
Do we? Okay.
Yes, we do.
All right,
You certainly have your choice,
okay.
and I have no objection to whether it's a realtor or a landlord, okay? An objective candidate, an unprejudiced candidate, someone who is rational and respectful. Now, that leaves them very wide open, but what I'm saying here is, as far as saying meeting the qualifications on paper is one thing, but I have gone through several things here that are very serious. I have, and I think you would acknowledge that. And it's one thing, if you're a realtor, that's fine. But then when someone is applying for a position and you have 6 realtors and you're only to pick one out of those 6, you're going to look at each one of those and say, now which one of these is the very best that I can put in my firm? I'm leaving that up to you. And I have supported every one of your recommendations that you have brought before us. And it's only because of what I have pointed out here this afternoon that I cannot support it. But you can see, I have supported every recommendation that you have brought forward in your entire term. And I've had no questions.
Well, we will ask Mrs. McBride in the mayor's office to put this out again.
Okay.
And I will say for the record and be clear that this type of scrutiny, when the scrutinization has not been the same in the past, I will have to decide whether or not, at this point, as you know, because the charter doesn't say, as our charter doesn't say a lot of things, this means that Mr. Inslee stays in his post, and I will work very quickly. I will send him another letter that says we will expect you to stay until an appointment can get past the city council.
And I'd like to say one thing too. I also would like to see someone that is community active also. You know, you can be a realtor, but have some community involvement, educational background, and have much experience in the real estate business. You know what I mean, 10, 15
Is the
years.
threshold, I guess my question is that the threshold is that they disagree with you on issues? Is that enough to bring down the nominee?